sky. It's really neat. They'll be flying and they zoom in and all of a sudden there's 20 of them in the backyard.
Oh, wow.
Madam Chair, we are recording and we are live on YouTube.
Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone, and happy snow day. Hope everyone's staying warm, healthy. All right, let's start the meeting, and if we can have a roll call, please.
Commission Member Wilson,
I'm here. I was muted, sorry.
Commission Member Hudson,
Here.
Commission Member Lawson, Commission Member Helfrey,
Here.
Commission Member Stevens, Commission Member Ward,
Here.
Commission Member Tripp, Council Liaison Garitano, Staff Liaison Cruz, and Chair Siebert.
Here. Okay. All right, on the agenda, are minutes from January 5th. If you, do we need time to read through them? Yes, Vicky.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, any opposed? Minutes are approved.
Thank you.
Are there any people joining us from the public?
Madam Chair, there are no other attendees, so no. And we did not receive any written comments either through our website or email for the benefit of the commission. So no public comment tonight. Thank you.
All right, great. Okay, the venue, let's start with item number 5. Our Celebrate Wildwood event, the venue layout for this year's event.
Well, Madam Chair, with your permission, I'm going to share screen here in a second, and I'm going to let Gary kind of run through the venue layout. You all
Okay.
received an aerial photograph of it. It should seem familiar to you because we talked about it at length last year, but we're able to hang on to the site next to the theater and have our 2021 celebration there. So
Okay.
just give me a second and I'm going to share screen here. And with that, if Gary wants to kind of go through the layout and give some numbers, I think it'll be beneficial to our understanding of this particular location. Thank you.
It's the drawing that you see up on the screen right now is rather basic, but it's very similar to the setup that we arranged before we realized we had the field on the cinema for one of the farmer events. But as you can see on the future Village Green property over there, we can easily fit the bounce houses and the climbing walls and the pony rides, and then we put a little other circle in there in case something else comes up like the Boy Scouts or something. But there's plenty of room over there. And if we clear out, and I think we are planning on clearing out the area between the stage up to the parking lot area behind City Hall, it'll be people will actually kind of flow right through there. And the kids will find the bounce houses and stuff like that. So, and the pony rides. So it won't be like they're forgotten. The stage will be in the typical place at the end of Main Street, right there. Up in that field that's raised up a little bit, the rendition that we have there is about 80 booths or 60 booths. And then we have 20 booths that are down on Main Street. My idea is similar to the last one we had like that. The artists, we get the real artists that we get, we'll put in that area down there where there's 20 or 22 booths on Main Street, and all the other booths will go up in the field up there in 3 different columns. The food court area, it looks a little crowded the way we have it, but that's going to be in that little field that's right across from City Hall. We will use that entire field, plus we will use Main Street out in front of there for all the booths. Obviously, we'll be limited in booths in what we can get in there as far as trailers and food trucks and everything. But I think the last time when we actually arranged the tents for the food booths in there, we had about 16 food booths that fit in that little area. And that was with the dining tent that we're planning on putting there. In front of the stage and between the set of booths that we have on Main Street, I have a little thing there that says static displays. Those are the displays that will show up in the afternoon, and they're kind of mobile. They'll be set up for a certain period of time, and then they'll just get moved out before the concert begins at the end of the evening.
Okay.
And that's it in a nutshell. It's pretty simple. Obviously, I mean, there was talk of using Market Street and Plaza Drive, but we got to remember we have to keep some kind of an avenue open to get emergency vehicles in should that be needed. And
Okay.
if anybody has any questions, I'll be available.
And Madam Chair, if I may just add one thing. Under
Yes.
this design that Gary's kind of put together for the benefit of the commission, we still have all of the garage parking accessible. So that's 150 plus spaces off of Plaza Drive, that'd be up top here. And then obviously this access to the lower level is still available for the theater, as well as any of us relative to the commission and others to park in here. So we have a good number of spaces nearby as well.
All right. And now the Wildwood Theater, though, they're going to let us park behind that too?
They have in the past. It depends again on, I guess, to a certain degree, what's happening with the theater. This past year, there were no issues because of COVID-19. The theater had a limited schedule. In some instances, if it's an opening, if it's a major production coming out, we may control access, but during the morning and early afternoon, we have complete access to it. So it generally works out pretty well.
All right. Anyone have any questions?
So if we do fireworks, where would we do that?
The fireworks, we had it worked out with the company that does the display. It will be behind the bounce house areas in that corner that's behind the bounce houses, and I'll shoot from that direction. Of course, we'll call them back out and have them look at it again. But that's right now, that's where we're planning on doing it.
So where would people set up their chairs?
Right,
Where?
they'll be all in front of the stage, just like they're going to the concert, and it will come up over the top of the stage behind it.
I see. Okay. Well, that's good. I think. What do you
Yeah.
all think?
I think that'd be nice.
Yeah, I think it would too.
And that's paved, it's flat, which is good, right?
And will we notify the people that live back over there ahead of time in writing that will be happening that night so that they don't get scared out of their wits?
Yeah, we were prepared to do that last time, and obviously we didn't need to, but yeah, we'll notify everybody along there, let them know what's going on, just so we don't scare the bejeebers out of everybody.
All right, thank you so much.
Okay, good.
And Ms. Helfrey, we'll also have to control access up at the west end of Crestview Drive. So as people don't necessarily drive down the private street and park there for the event. So we'll have a pretty substantial presence there that day, and hopefully along with the notification, nobody will be surprised.
And we will also, I guess, I'm hoping that we'll also block Crestview off, where it's on the diagram which shows other, right about there, so that people don't go walk up to those houses, correct? I mean, we want to be mindful of them, I guess.
Certainly, there's ways to basically control access, and we'll make sure that we don't become a bad neighbor.
Well, with you guys in charge, I don't think that that's ever would be a problem.
And the other people trying to access off of Market Street, that'll be before the fireworks start, there'll be security not allowing people that shouldn't be in that
Yeah.
area?
Market Street will be blacked. We'll black it on Plaza right at the corner of the Anthology Senior Living
Okay.
Center. We'll black it off there with barricades. So we can move them to allow vehicles to move in and out. But when the fireworks start, we'll stop it permanently.
Okay, all right, good. One question, the concert. I read through the minutes and we're not gonna have the group that we had last time. Is that correct?
You mean those artists from Nashville?
That's a nice way of putting it. Yes.
I wouldn't invite them to my funeral.
Okay. Now, good. So did we agree on a group yet? I don't think so.
Well, Madam Chair, we did. Right
Okay.
after the event this year, there was a discussion about having Teddy McCready be the headliner.
Right? Oh, that's right. Okay.
But since you brought the subject up, both Gary and I have some reservations about that. It's not that we don't appreciate Teddy McCready. It's just that that band at the end of the event at night has just always been kind of a dynamic, energetic, kind of get people up and moving. And Mr. McCready can be kind of sing ballads and things along those lines.
Okay.
So we would love to have Mr. McCready back as our daytime entertainment, as we did this past year in 2021. But we'd sure like to have the commission consider maybe getting one of those bands like we've had in the past, Fat Pocket.
Oh, Fat Pocket was great.
Yeah,
Who
they're
was the
just-
band that played last year during the day? Who was it that played during the day last year, that played the 70s and 80s? Who was that?
I can't remember, but we have a lot of options out there. And
Well, that
we can-
band that played last year, Joe, was fantastic. Everybody that talked to me said that they loved them. The only complaint was that a couple of the booths were just right in line of the speaker. But other than that, the overwhelming response of whoever that was that they were fantastic.
I think that was Teddy McCready. And I think it's easier to have a band like Mr. McCready's during the day because at night the volume goes up and that does impact the booths. Maybe not as much this year with the redesign, but like I say, Gary and I would love to have the opportunity to present to you some options for that nighttime band that maybe we think would really add a great finishing touch.
I think that's a good suggestion.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And if there's any kind of like group field trips we need to go on to go hear some bands, I'm all in.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Uh-huh. All right.
Well, with your all's permission, Gary and I'll investigate who's available. And then we'll send out an email in advance of the next meeting. So maybe we'll send an email out with the band's name and the link to their website. Maybe you can listen to some of their music and then hopefully we can make a quick decision at our March meeting and get them on board.
Okay, good. All right, thank you.
So Madam Chair, before we leave the venue grounds, I would like to ask for a motion and second and vote that the general layout be accepted by the commission, and then we'll start working on it in earnest to get it done.
Okay, all right. Vicki?
I make a motion to approve the city's layout. I do have a question after this.
Okay, is there a second? I'll second it. Pat? Okay. All approved? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No. Okay, motion carries. The event layout, as you've outlined it, is a go.
Thank you, Madam
So-
Chair. Ms. Helfrey?
Joe and Gary, is there room for Ken? I know you said where the other was. Will that be enough room for Ken for the Boy Scouts? If they're able to come, because I know that last year he was a little concerned about that, and I just wanted to make sure that we had them kind of covered.
We actually had before we moved to the other field, we actually had a really good layout for the Boy Scouts on that side of the tent, and Ken was totally happy and on board with it. So I think we'll be in good shape.
Good. All right. So next thing on the agenda then is advertising and promotion.
Madam Chair, there was one thing before that, the parade components. My
Oh,
apologies.
okay. All right. Yeah, there were quite a few comments on that. And I think you did a memorandum. Yeah. Well, that was advertising and promotion. Okay, let's talk about the parade then.
Well, Madam Chair and members of the commission, I really only have a couple of components I wanted to kind of present to you tonight. The first is, in the past, we've always had a theme. And so I was wondering if you all would like to offer any suggestions or think about it over the next month. And then in March, we can select a theme for the parade, and that's how we'll promote it and advertise it. That's the first item. I also was hoping the commission could give an opinion on the float contest. We don't generally get a lot of participants in the float contest, but certainly I think it's a fun component of the parade. And so I was hoping to see if we wanted to pursue that, and then maybe with our efforts on advertising and promotion, we'll do a better job and get more contestants. And then finally, this is just more for information. We do intend to have a schematic of the new logistics for the parade. Since we're intending to use New Community Church again, we're going to work the drop off of our participants up on Manchester Road, more toward Larry's Tavern. So as we don't get the situation where Gary and I are dodging vehicles with parents and kids in them, risking our lives. So I'll have something for you in March on that. But right now, theme and the float contest is something I'd like to see what you all are thinking about. Thank you.
Okay. All right, let's, yes, Vicki.
Joe, do you guys have any ideas on themes that you might want to throw out?
Miss Helfrey, I do not. I know I've got a lot, 7 creative people on the other side of this, so I'm hoping you all maybe have some ideas. Just to kind of give you the benefit, we did one regarding the Wild West, Wildwood. We did 25-year anniversary, which was postponed, and then we did 25+1. So those have kind of been the last 3.
Okay.
Mhm.
And again, it could be just to plant the seed tonight, and if you all can think about it.
Yep.
Okay, that's a good idea. All right. Put on thinking caps and come up with a theme. Not 25+2, no.
Sounds okay to me, but
All right. I think the ideas on the parade about using more of Old Manchester Road, that was great. I think, and Libby pointed this out, I think last time, it was too pushed together. You know, we needed it strung out more.
well,
And the other thing I think, if we're going to hand out candy, which the kids, everyone loves that, if you're in a golf cart or a float, then who's ever handing out that candy I personally think should not be in the cart. They should be walking alongside of it. That way, no one's actually coming up to the cart, and if there are 2 people or 3 people in a cart, take turns, or one on each side and the driver of the cart. Any ideas? What do you think?
I think that's a good idea.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea too, so that the golf carts keep moving. It doesn't delay the traffic and the flow. And the people handing out candy are walking up to the viewers so that
Mhm.
the parade watchers aren't coming into the street and all of that. So I think that's a good idea, that any candy that's handed out would be from somebody who's walking along the parade route and
Mhm.
not from the carts.
Right. Pat, what do you think?
I think that's a good idea. And I think you could be more, we could ask for volunteers also for that to get more people
Mhm.
involved. Candy passer outers, that's not a bad job.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else on the parade? But it would be great if we could get more businesses
So
involved.
for the parade contest, is there a prize that's awarded?
Right.
What is, okay.
We've been, for the past 3 years, we've had gift certificates that we've handed out to various places. My mind's gone blank, Joe, here, but I know Kristen and I think last year was just a general, like a MasterCard for $100, $150 for one, $100 for the second place, and then $75 for the third.
Yeah,
So-
Vicky.
And this is just a thought. It's not like I'm looking for more stuff to dust, but something that might be interesting would be maybe to give a silly trophy or a plaque that whatever business or entity won the parade could display it for the year, because that is kind of in itself
Hi,
free
Jeff.
advertising. Previous the next year's parade. So for example, if Benedetto's won the parade this year, they would have this, tacky trophy or plaque in their lobby that they could show, and everybody could see, oh, there's a parade when they do Wildwood Days, and that might be something. Also, what is the entrance requirements for people to be in the parade? Is there a fee application? How does that work for others?
Yeah, we have an application that they turn in to us. I think they can do it on Rec Desk now. They can enter the parades through that.
But there's
If I
no
may,
fee?
there's no fee, no.
Okay.
And while we're talking about this, if I could throw this out, Joe, I didn't discuss this with you, but in the past, we've always, when we lay out the parade setup, we always allow extra space for the unknown. Somebody shows up late or somebody shows up that's not registered and then we want to stick them in there. Last year, we had quite a few people show up that never registered ahead of time or anything. And so we got them worked, we got them into the lineup, but it gets confusing. So I'm just wondering if we want to continue doing that, or if we say we make a mandate to say, you want to be in the parade, you got to register for this. So we know that you're coming.
Well, I think that you have to make it very, you almost have to hold people's hands to let them know how to register for things like that. Even if it means putting a notice in a school, newsletter or something of that nature to let people know, hey, we just need a little bit of notice. Putting it on the website of the city, anything like that we can get it out there and let them know. And then, different groups, more Girl Scouts, more Boy Scouts, some of the area businesses that haven't been in the parade before that might like the opportunity. I think that sometimes might be, you have to hold people's hand a little bit. But I think you guys do a fantastic job. I mean, please know that. I absolutely do. But if we're looking to grow it, those are my ideas.
And this year we had more than any year, correct? That we've had.
Mhm.
That's a good thing. And I like Vicky's idea about the plaque or whatever going to the business, but also maybe at City Hall, there could be a notice, this year, 20.
Yeah, that's a good idea. With room to add future years. Okay.
Well, okay, the only thing I'm gonna say about that is then if you have to continue it for future years, or look kind of silly with the big plaque with a lot of room and a little name on it.
Well, we'll count on the commission to continue that. That'll be your responsibility.
Okay.
It's like in a shadow box with just one thing in there per year, and then the next year you put another. That way we're not
Well,
committed.
that's a good idea.
Uh,
Feature that to feature, the who won first place or second place, third place, to feature those businesses or groups in City Hall.
Well, we certainly can do that. So that's a workable solution. In
Okay.
terms of engaging businesses to be interested in the parade, would the commission object if that a business enters, we offer them a booth at the event for no charge?
We offer them, pardon me,
A booth at the event
booth.
with no
I think
charge?
that's a fantastic idea.
That's a good idea. Mm-hmm.
So before they weren't offered, they weren't invited.
Um,
I know
Ms.
the
Ward,
Puppyton Palace. I know they're always in there. Puppy Palace.
yeah, for a business to obtain a free booth, they had to be a $500 sponsor or greater.
Mhm.
So in this case, what we would do is we would still have our sponsorship levels, which many have taken advantage of, but we would say, if you're a business and you participate in the parade, you get a free booth at the event all day.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, I
I'm
think
not
it's a
sure,
great idea.
I'm not sure if it'll generate any interest, but at least it's another, let's say, carrot for a business, because then they can actually get a good amount of exposure during the event day.
Yeah, I think it's a good motivator.
Well, we'll put it on our list then and see how it goes.
Okay.
Joe, Gary, can I ask you a question just for my own personal? I'm just curious. There's all these animal. I know I've mentioned them in the past, like the the animal, the place that rescues animals off of Keeper Creek, and there's the Wild Canine Center and the Bird Sanctuary. And while I'm looking at you guys, I'm also have a split screen. I went to the City of Wildwood website just to kind of, when we were talking about advertising, and I see that we have a number of equestrian facilities. And I'm just wondering, I don't ever see a big presence of those at the Celebrate Wildwood. And I'm just wondering if you thought that there was a way we could get those people to come. Would it be offering them a spot, like have an area that services? Because I just think those are all very unique services, and they're unique to Wildwood and the surrounding area. And it sure would be nice to get their names and faces out there. Any thoughts?
Well, I'll defer to Gary, but I know we reach out to almost all the agencies, let's say local governments, state government, and federal government to a certain degree that provide service out here. We feel like it's a great opportunity for them to meet the people they serve. And in terms of those other organizations, Gary?
Yeah, we can. Most of the organizations would probably, they take some coaxing to get them to come out. They're kind of hesitant. Most of them do come. The only exception to that is the World Bird Sanctuary. They would charge us to bring their critters out, because we've had them at quite a few events, and they're pretty expensive. But all the other ones that you speak of, the animal rescue centers and stuff, I think we'd have good luck with them. We could bring them out.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that they need to necessarily bring animals. I almost feel like, and I'm not talking about giving away stuff, but gosh, it would be nice if we could offer them a place to show their wares, because most of them are nonprofits.
Right.
And those are some things that are unique to this area that serve a large, it would really be nice to kind of give them some notoriety, some presence. And that's just my,
Sure.
I really think that would be a great idea.
That's definitely
Especially-
something we can work on.
And the equestrian component, that would be neat if they could be in the parade, and a free booth.
And
I'm
Joe,
not riding behind them. Nope, not.
Right. I agree.
and Joe, if you would chime in on this. Now, we have in the past, it might have been pre the commission, I don't know, but every time we bring horses in, like we've had really good luck with the guys from the Shriners with their horses, because they do that stuff all the time. But in other cases, we've had horses, and boy, we get all kinds of complaints after the parade's over with.
All right.
Okay, but we can certainly research it and see.
Well, I meant, like maybe offer the equine assisted therapy. That's a big deal, and not a lot of people know about it. And I bet that they could really benefit from having a booth, and with posters even. You don't necessarily have to have a course, but just telling people about it, right? So, for what it's worth, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about trying to help the businesses in the local area, and those wildlife businesses and the equine businesses are kind of unique to this area of St. Louis County. So thank you.
Does our ski resort ever participate in either in the parade, or do they have a booth?
In years past, Madam Chair, they did. The gentleman that used to be the executive director down there, or the manager of the facility, Bill Brandis, he would bring volunteers to help as well as participate in the event itself. They had a booth. Now that it's been purchased by a large corporation, I don't know if they'll still have the same interest, but we do contact them every year.
Okay. I mean, that's such a draw to this area, to this town, in the winter months.
Well, and if you're interested, they do now have zip lines for spring, summer, and fall. And they've also opened up a set of hiking trails out on the facility, so that
Oh,
during the off ski season, there's actually a couple of things you can do out there in a very, very beautiful setting.
okay. Well, then that would be something that, you would hope they want to promote.
Right.
That
Yeah.
it's not just a winter facility, that it's a,
Year round.
year round. They offer programs and things to do year round.
Did everyone see in the chat that Sharon had 2 suggestions for the theme? Sharon, do you want to share them?
I put a walk on the wild side and then wild things.
I think
There's a
it's
lot of different ways you
similar
could.
to, walk on the wild side. Didn't
We
we?
did that one 3 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
but I don't think we've done wild things.
So does Wildwood have a bike trail? I know they were talking about putting one there instead of the zip line. Do they have one?
Ms. Hudson, they basically have a system of natural surface trails. I think,
Okay.
I haven't been out there recently to kind of see what they've been doing, but they've talked about, basically they call them hiking trails.
Okay. And does the Greenway go through any of Wildwood yet?
The Greenway, at least the Greenway that the Great Rivers Greenway has been promoting in this west area of St. Louis County, it does not include Hidden Valley.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So, all right, I'm looking. One thing that we need to talk about is advertising, and you put together, you and Gary, everyone put together an incredible list of advertisers, of people, or how to spread the word of our event. Can we chat about that for a minute?
Madam Chair, I would love to, and all I would say as an introduction, Gary and I and others in the department sat down and thought, what can we do as a city? And a lot of that came from suggestions from the commission. And then what else is out there? So tonight, as the memo kind of concludes, I'm sure it's not all inclusive. So if we do have
Can
other
you turn
ideas,
the light on?
we'd love to hear them. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any ones that we think we should eliminate? Or do
So-
we want to think it over and come back to that in March?
Yeah, I would like to think it over, just kind of look at it, ponder it.
Okay. Anyone else?
So question about under the public or paid options. We've got like St. Louis Post Dispatch, Riverfront Times. Would these just be that we would be submitting to like their events calendar that the celebration would be happening, or would these actually be ads that would be placed there?
Well, Ms. Wilson, I think at the very least, we try to get on their event schedules, but the second question is more for the commission. If you want to consider an ad in these publications, we can certainly find out what the cost is, and then we can provide that to the commission members.
Okay. Well, we're gonna need some cost information if we can, if you can obtain that. In case we do want to have a budget for putting ads in.
Yes, ma'am. We'll see if we can track down those options that are paid and would require us to compensate them. And then we'll hopefully have that for you in total
Okay.
in March.
All right, is there anything else that we haven't gone over yet?
Madam Chair, there is
Yes.
just one more thing. I'm sure you're all familiar with our status sheet. It doesn't show up very well here, but
Right,
so we had our recap meeting in January, so to speak, and kickoff. And so we published this. As you'll see, a lot of things aren't started, but don't be dismayed. That isn't a bad thing. We obviously have a good amount of time from now. But I wanted to get it out to you all so you can start tracking the progress we're all making as we do our meetings and the assignments are provided. So thank you.
okay, good. Thank you. All right. Okay, Mr. Garitano, do you have anything to add? We know you're here.
No, I'm following along over here. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else?
Madam Chair, Ms. Helfrey offered a couple of ideas for the
Yes.
parade thing.
Vicky,
That was just for you guys to chew on it. I was just thinking, wildly natural or wildly nature for Wildwood. So just, those are my thoughts. Off the
okay.
cuff.
All right, well, hopefully in March we can come up with a theme. Thank you. And Sharon had one or two.
Yeah,
So again, if you think of anything or see something out there that kind of jogs your mind and that'd be a good theme, write it down and we'll talk about it in March.
okay.
Okay. If there's nothing further, our next meeting date is March 2nd. Is that Groundhog Day? No,
No, that's the.
Today.
that's-
it's today, well, oh, well. March 2nd, okay,
So you want to hear the bad news?
yes.
I
Saw
believe
his shadow.
we saw a shadow.
We should have him over here in our state. There was no sun.
That's right. That's right. Was that the Missouri groundhog or was that Puxatawny Phil?
Puxatawny Phil.
Okay, all right.
Maybe we need a Wildwood groundhog. We can have an
Yeah.
annual tradition.
I've got some over here at my house that we could use.
Be our mascot, Bill.
Okay, all right, Libby. We got to give that groundhog a name then.
Okay.
Something from Wildwood.
Willie from Wildwood.
There we go. Willie
there you go.
Wilson from Wildwood. WWW. How do you like that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Okay. If there's nothing else, shall we adjourn?
I moved.
Is there a I'll make a motion. We adjourn. Is there a second?
A second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're adjourned till March 2nd.
Thank you,
Everyone,
guys. Have a good night.
thanks. You too.
Be careful
Thanks.
out
Be
there over the
careful.
next couple days.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.